On January 28, 1986, a disaster shocked all of humanity. At 11 a.m. near the Kennedy Space Center in the U.S., nearly 1,000 spectators gathered 6.4 kilometers away, eagerly awaiting this exciting moment. Since its first flight in April 1983, the Challenger space shuttle had successfully completed 9 missions. This was to be its 10th mission, but tragically, it would also be its last. At 11:39 a.m. with a loud roar, Challenger successfully lifted off amidst the cheers of the crowd. However, 50 seconds into the launch, someone on the ground noticed a faint black smoke emerging from the right solid rocket booster of Challenger. The ground crew, however, paid little attention to it. At 59 seconds into the flight, Challenger had ascended to an altitude of 10,000 meters. By this time, nearly 450 tons of solid fuel had been burned by the boosters, and the main engine had reached full throttle. All monitoring data from both the shuttle and the ground control showed no abnormalities. As the astronauts increased the throttle of the main engine and reported to the ground, no one anticipated that this would be their final words. In the 73rd second of the flight, as Challenger reached an altitude of 16,600 meters, it suddenly exploded and disintegrated in mid-air, broadcast live to the entire world. All 7 astronauts aboard perished, leaving everyone present in shock. However, the contractor responsible for this mission, Thiokol, and 2 engineers who designed and built the solid rocket boosters, were not surprised. They knew that the cold temperature on the day of the launch likely caused the failure of the O-rings that sealed the connection between the boosters and the fuel tank, leading to a fuel leak. The night before the launch, they had desperately tried to convince NASA to halt the mission. However, the management, having already committed to significant media coverage, ignored the engineers' warnings and, gambling with fate, insisted on proceeding with the launch. This tragic decision ultimately led to disaster. Despite the Challenger disaster, NASA failed to learn from its blind confidence. On January 16, 2003, 80 seconds after the Columbia Space Shuttle launched from the Kennedy Space Center, a piece of insulating foam detached from the fuel tank due to the intense friction with the atmosphere and struck the shuttle's wing. No one noticed at the time, and the shuttle seemed to function normally, carrying the astronauts into orbit to begin their mission. However, this seemingly minor incident would inevitably lead to a doomed journey with no return. The next day, ground personnel reviewing high-resolution images noticed the incident and immediately reported it, but NASA's management, deeming a rescue operation too complex and costly, brushed it off. They rationalized that during the 79 previous shuttle missions, foam had fallen off 65 times, yet all had safely returned. Once again, they gambled. This time, it cost the lives of 7 astronauts when Columbia disintegrated during re-entry. The shuttle program's many safety hazards remained hidden until the lives of astronauts were tragically lost in the void of space. It was these 2 horrific disasters that eventually forced NASA to retire its once proud space shuttle program from history altogether.